Want to start your own podcast? I did, but had no idea where to begin. I thought I needed a computer, which I'm no expert at, and spent hundreds on equipment. Turns out all I needed was Anchor. I can use my PC, my tablet, or my phone to record an episode. No need to buy interfaces or recorders, and it's free. Anchor takes all the guesswork out and does everything for you. You can even upload your live stream, and Anchor will convert it to audio. No fancy apps or programs needed. Did I mention it was free? So learn from my mistakes, save money, and join Anchor.
This is Bob Decker at Questionable Records, and you're listening to Undergroundopolis.
Is everybody having fun? We're going to bring the energy level back up after this, don't worry. We got some crazy shit coming up. Barstool felt good. Was on my ass last night. I drank lots of whiskey. The neon signs were bright. The wallet was getting thinner, and there was music on my mind. I'm happily dying all the time. Hungover and stoned. I had a late night last night. Hungover and stoned. I feel bad.
Welcome to Season 5 of Undergroundopolis. Man, we've been doing this for 5 seasons. It's a surprise for me. As you know, every season opener, I've got a banger, and I've got a banger on for tonight, you know. If y'all missed the Season 4 finale, I had Carla Torgerson on from Seattle. She was in the band called the Walkabouts, just in case you didn't know, which the Walkabouts bass player was on the Mad Season Above album. That's the one guy nobody knows who he is. Just plug in it. You know, I got to shamelessly self-promote a little, just like I'm about to tell you about Open Mic at Dundee Tavern every Wednesday night, 7 to 10, 2224 Dundee Road, Louisville, Kentucky. Also, guess what? Every Tuesday night at the Old Depot in Shepherdsville, Kentucky, we're starting an open mic there every Tuesday night, 7 to 10. And y'all know that place is a blast. You know, anybody that's ever been there knows that place is wilder than hell. So it's going to be a really good open mic, so you should come out. My next guest, well, let me just say this. Over the years, I got to where I really followed certain record companies. And one of them was Rumbar Records, which I still do. I still follow, and which Georgia Peach was just released their record on. The Dogmatics just released their record on. Members of Nashville Pussy and stuff have been on those on Georgia Peach's records and 9 Pound Hammer. Another record company I followed for a long time is Black and Blue Records. Now, Black and Blue Records had some G.G. Allen stuff, some Without Motherfucking Order, I think was on there. And my next guest was part of that for a while. And hell, for all I know, it still could be. I don't think so. But certainly got his credentials. Let's just say that. And even, I guess back in June, Travis Parker of the Muscles have a song called Kisses for All the Girls. And they give a huge shout out to my guest in that song. I wonder if my guest even knows about that. They call him by name. His Bloody Mess plays me on the radio. And I just gave away my guest. Bloody Mess, tell us where you're at now.
Hey man, thank you for that cool introduction. And no, I did not know about that Filthy Jill and the Muscle song. That's awesome. I'm based in extreme Southern Oregon, about 15 miles above the Northern California border, right here in the Siskiyou Mountains.
You're in the mountains, huh?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. First thing is, we'll start out with a couple easy questions just to break the ice. How did Bloody Mess and the Skabs come together?
Well, I started out doing music back in the early 80s, and then probably by about, 1987, I had already been around 4 or 5 years doing music in the, central Illinois punk scene and stuff, and moved away from Illinois to Colorado, decided to kind of quit the music deal entirely. So I did my last show with my band, Bloody Mess and Hate, opening for Naked Raygun, and I think it was summer of 87. I took off for Greeley, Colorado. That lasted about 8 months, and then I came back and decided to put together a shock rock band and just kick the doors wide open in the Midwest and try to do what I could to fuck up the status quo as much as humanly possible. So that was 87 or so. 88 we started. Yeah, one of those 2 years. I think early 88.
You have been at it for a while.
Right? Yeah, I'm actually celebrating my 40th anniversary next year, man, with my 10th and my 40th anniversary album.
And when can we expect that?
Probably at the end of 4043, if not a little later, but maybe earlier. But I'm shooting for December of 4040. I'm just shooting for December of 2023, and this White Widow that I'm smoking is kicking in. Woohoo!
It's legal out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is, man. Thank goddess.
So here in Indiana and Kentucky, it's still not legal. I don't know why. I don't even smoke, and I'm still like, what? Why is it not legal?
My ex-bass player was on tour, and he got busted in Indiana, and we had to, hold up a tour for a day or two to get him out of jail.
Everybody gets busted in Indiana. Jesus. We had a show here in Milwaukee a couple months ago. Of course, passing through Illinois, we stopped at one of the guys wanted to stop at a dispensary. I was like, "Can you even take this back into Indiana? Because we got to go through Indiana." Well, you can take it through, but just you can't get caught.
Well, my theory always was when I was a younger man. My theory was always one crime at a time. So if you're going to do that, make sure you drive the speed limit and have your seatbelt on at least.
Who would you say that you saw live or on TV or whatever, and you say, you know what, I want to be a musician? You can have more than one answer too.
It's weird because I was more of a writer than I never really wanted to be a musician, and I never really became one. I don't play any instruments. I can't even play spoons, bro. But I was always a writer, and as a kid, I was into poetry. At a young age, I was taught poetry in 3rd grade. And I really got into the art of putting words together on paper. And then I got into spoken word poets in maybe 1980. And the first thing I ever did, which no one knows really, is I contributed spoken word recordings to a cassette tape compilation in 1983, I believe, or 82 it was a cassette called Earthworm Tunnels. And I'm on that as Bloody Mess. But after that, I decided to get into the band thing because my best friend bought a bass and an amp, so I thought, well, hell, what's the easiest thing I can do to be in a band without, having discipline? So I got a microphone and a mic stand and thought, fuck it, let's go for it. And that's how it started.
Just so everybody knows, if you hear kittens, it's because I've got kittens down here where I'm doing the show. They keep taking off of my glasses.
I love the animals.
Can you narrow down your favorite show you've ever played?
Favorite show I've ever played? Wow. There's a couple that come to mind. One of them was in 1999 or maybe the year 2000. I was in a band for a short time called the Foster Children in Peoria, Illinois, that was made up of radio DJs because I'm a broadcaster. I'm in radio. So everyone at the radio station, which was the biggest station in central Illinois, WWCT Rock 106. And we put together a band called the Foster Children, which was named after Bruce Foster, the owner of the station. It was more of a pirate radio, even though it was highly commercial. We could still play whatever we wanted. It was great. And they had a show one day, and they said, hey, we're going to bring Jesse James, Dupree, and Jackal to town. You guys want to open up? I'm like, well, sure. So we put together a whole set of cover tunes like The Doors and a bunch of rock and roll, and we did a killer show for about 2,000 or 3,000 people on the Peoria waterfront, and Jesse James and Jackal brought their lumberjacker song out with their chainsaw and did some rock and roll, and it was a perfect summer night, man. And it was one of the best rock shows I ever did, and I believe it's on YouTube, as a matter of fact.
What, your show?
Yeah, my segment. It's about a 9-minute medley of me doing Doors music with the Foster Children in Peoria, Illinois, and I think it's 2000. It's Peoria Riverfront. pretty easy to find on YouTube. And that was a special night with a really big crowd.
You are the host or producer or of the Church of Rock Radio. Is that correct?
Yes, there's two of us, myself and Sister Tracy. We both co-host and co-produce, and it's been running for 23 years every Sunday night. Starting this coming Halloween will be our anniversary, man. For 23 years solid, we've been doing rock and roll radio like Wolfman Jack used to do it, like the old school guys did it in the 60s, 70s, early 80s. And we've got, we're literally on FM radio and syndicated out here, and pretty awesome. We've got listeners in like 9 countries that tune in real time. You know, we'll get emails from Japan, Australia, Scotland, and we don't take it for granted, man. We play all the great stuff that you don't hear on the regular corporate radio.
I was fixing to ask, could I get it out here? Out here in the Midwest. So how do you do that?
You just go to kskq.org, and there's a button that says listen live, and you click it, and boom, it's that easy, really. And that is K as in kangaroo, S as in Sam, K as in kangaroo, and Q as in quarterback. .org.
Man, you do a lot. You're managing Pat McGlynn. Is that correct?
I do manage Pat McGlynn. He's one of my very best pals, and he's in Edinburgh, Scotland. Was in the Bay City Rollers at their very peak when they were probably the biggest band in the world at the time. Nobody had sold as many records in the world except for the Beatles, and the Rollers definitely came in second for many years. Nobody had broke that record. But yeah, I manage Pat. He's a great dude, and we are hooking up next month, man. I'm heading over to Edinburgh to visit him and stay with him and make music with him.
Like in Scotland?
Yes, sir. My first trip, and I'm super excited, man.
I was wondering if you did you ever tour outside the country?
I'd never toured outside the States, man. You know, I ventured into Mexico once and Canada once, but I've only toured in the United States. Isn't that interesting?
Man, there's so many people, they hightail it to Europe, man. I wish I could do that. I really do. I envy people that do it. I do. What else what are you going to do when you get to Scotland with Pat McGlynn?
Well, I guess the question is, what aren't we doing? It's so crazy. We've got a lot going on, man. We, Pat has a tribute album that came out. It's called A Tribute to Pat McGlynn, Skies Are Blue, with lots of people from bands like the Black Crowes, Tom Petty's Heartbreakers, and different people that contributed songs. And so we have got an all-star band put together, Pat and I. It's Pat's band, but I'm proud to be a part of it. And we've got some great guys, which we haven't really formally announced any of this stuff. But we have guys that have played with Henry Rollins and Sparks and like the Dead Boys and stuff like that, involved. And we're really excited about the possibilities that are coming up. But me and Pat are also working with a guy named Gordon Anthony. His name's Gogs. He's a good friend of both of ours, but it's Pat's longtime friend. Super musician and producer, so we're doing stuff with him over there as well. Also doing the Roller Mania radio show, September 23rd, which has hundreds of thousands of listeners every week. It's bizarre, like one of the biggest radio shows in the world, basically. So Pat's going to be doing his first radio show, like a live appearance with an acoustic guitar, doing a jam, in decades. So that's going to be amazing.
You just caught my interest in something you just said. You said somebody from the Dead Boys. Can you leak that?
Well,
can you leak that?
Several years ago, Cheetah Chrome and Johnny Blitz and the Dead Boys put together Reunited Dead Boys, and I went and saw the band, and they were freaking amazing. In case you haven't seen them, which you probably have, but if not, they were really cool.
No,
really.
I haven't.
They delivered. Well, the singer, I was like, the singer is going to be everything for me. He's either going to be great or he's going to suck. And he was great. And he's going to be on my radio show this coming Sunday, coincidentally. But that guy, Jake Hout, and the band he put together, Cheetah Chrome and Johnny, man, it really does represent the Dead Boy spirit. It's more of a tribute, and it's with, the guitarist and drummer playing, and it's so good. So the bass player of the Dead Boys is Ricky Rat, who's also famous for being in the trash. Yeah, the Trash Rat from Detroit. So Ricky,
he's been on this
Rat,
show.
Oh, awesome. What a small freaking world, man. I'm preaching to the choir, bro.
I was kind of wondering if it's either Ricky Rat or Frank Sessich, who's also been on the show.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Frank is or not.
Wasn't he in the Dead Boys as well?
Yeah, he was for a short time, but he was on the Disconnected album. Steve Bader's Disconnected album. He wrote Million Miles Away, which of course Michael Monroe covered.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful album. I love Disconnected.
I do too.
Yeah.
Great.
Long live Steve Bader's is definitely one of my influences of many.
I went up to Cleveland when Steve No Compromise, No Regrets came out, and to the world premiere at that little art college in Cleveland, and got to have a conversation with Jimmy Zero, Frank Sesich, Eddie Best. Like,
wow.
I talked to several of them, and like Frank and I are Facebook friends, and we chat quite a bit. He and I do. He comments on my stuff quite a bit, so it's like he's a really rad guy. Anyway, let me get back to the. We got off on a tangent, which happens on this show. I'm really glad. I'm glad Ricky Rapp's doing as well as he is right now, man. He's in some ways he's on top of the world. Did he just release a solo record?
He did, and I got a copy, and I've got to say it's freaking awesome, man. I love it. Yeah,
I'm sure it is, man. How will we be able to see anything with the stuff in Scotland?
Well, I released a tribute to Pat McGlynn. It's on YouTube. Skies Are Blue. There's a new song that me and Pat did together with our friend Goggs called Empty, which is an old tune of mine. But we did a new version of it. You can hear that on YouTube just by typing up Pat McGlynn with Bloody Mess and Goggs Empty. But as far as Scotland, we're going to be getting video footage of Pat doing the radio show Acoustic Jam. Plus, we're going to maybe do a Facebook Live thing, perhaps. And plus, we're going to record some stuff. And I can't say right now who it is because he'll kill me until I get it formally announced. But a pretty famous punk rocker that's pretty known is going to be in Scotland at the time, and he's going to possibly come by and record with us. But I can't say it because I could jinx it all.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Let's not do that.
I say whatever I do, though, we do, or whatever Pat does in Scotland when I'm there that's acceptable to him, it'll all be shared on YouTube and all that good stuff.
Empty, since this is my show and it's already been brought up, we get to talk about my favorite song, which is Empty.
Thank you, man.
I freaking love Empty. I love that song, man. I love Hungover and Stone too. As a matter of fact, I covered it Saturday I butchered it Saturday at a breast cancer benefit. I didn't do it very well. The Thursday before, where I play at Losers 812 in Jeffersonville, Indiana, every Thursday night. This is just a shameless self plug. That was the first time I did it, and I did it really well. And then Saturday at this breast cancer benefit, where there was a whole bunch of people there, and it was a poker run bike ride, and I got up there. I'm going to do Hungover and Stone, and I freaking butchered. Well, I don't know what happened between Thursday and Saturday, but I butchered it.
Well, the trick is to do the Bloody and the Transfusions version is way better than the Skabs version because we added a third verse and we re-recorded it to where there's like honky-tonk piano and all that good stuff and slide guitar, or, it's got like Hawaiian guitars, I believe, actually. But yeah, that second version we did in 2005, to me, is superior to the Hungover and Stone version on that album.
I love that album.
I love the album too. Yeah, Hungover and Stone's a classic album, but the song itself, when the Transfusions did it, it was a song that I originally had envisioned being recorded the first time. I just think they did it the right way.
Did you work with a different producer or anything on the albums or something, or?
Yeah, well, we had a whole different crew because it was a different band, and I believe that one was produced by Dave Moe and Jeff Gregory at Chocolate Ladyland Studios, and we added the third verse, which I really love. So, yeah, whenever I hear Hungover and Stoned or whenever we cover it, we tend to just pretty much do focus on that version.
I'm going to have to look it up because I didn't know about it.
Oh, man, yeah, you're going to go, wow. It's like the original was more of a demo. The original song was more of a demo, and it was a kind of a joke. And we thought, well, let's call the song a country tune, even though the rest of the album's all punk, and just for the hell of it, be the obnoxious bastards that we are. And then, really, I thought, man, we did the song an injustice. We didn't really record what I was hearing in my head, because I love, outlaw country. And then when the Transfusions did it, I was like, bam, now we got Hungover and Stoned. So I beg of you to check it out and just give me your opinion down the road and tell me your opinion, bro.
All right. I'll probably do it after we get off here. I was like, I have to hear this now.
It's the Hungover and Stone Challenge.
Back to Empty, just real quick. Is there like a story behind that song that I need to know about?
Well, I've had a lot of people over the years tell me the song was quite profound for them in different ways or cathartic. One guy told me he got through a divorce with that song. Another guy got through a death because of that song. I don't really quite understand it, but it really touches my heart for sure to hear that kind of thing about your own music. But it didn't come from a place of anything in particular. I think it was more of a subconscious thing on that, and not to get all weird on you, but I think it was more of a subconscious thing. Most songs are either autobiographical or just we have a clear something that it's about, whereas Empty is one of those rare songs that literally it's empty. There's no it's bereft of any meaning or where it even came from. So it's special. And for 30 something years, I've closed almost every show I've ever done with it. So that's awesome.
Speaking of shows, you playing anywhere? You playing live here where we can see you anytime soon?
We had our last show, my last show, I should say. I'm talking like a schizophrenic. We did, I did my last show on March of 2020. Yeah, before the COVID thing hit, right during it started. And that was my last show. And then I just decided, you know what, man, kind of burned out on it all. So I decided to just manage Pat, trying to focus on music overseas and try to get over to Japan next year, try to do some UK dates, work with the musicians outside of here perhaps. So we're doing a show coming up on September the 3rd here in about a month, here in Ashland, Oregon, though. I put together a group of really good friends and guys from different bands. And we're doing a show opening for Richie Ramone of the Ramones, and I'm extremely stoked. Richie's awesome, and it'll be my second time opening for him, throughout the years. And I got a good band, and what we're doing is one song from every one of my 9 albums. That's our set list.
And you're going to close with Empty.
Yep, we sure are. Not to be a spoiler alert, if you're going to the show, most people would be kind of let down. It's just a tradition, sort of. The people... Obviously, my fame is cult fame. It's very small. It's not like I'm a household name. But the people that do know my music, they would be let down if we didn't do Empty last. So, of course, we always do that rockin'. It's a great song to end with because it's so intense, It seems to have that one, My Black Little Heart, and Hungover and Stoned are the 3 biggies.
Man, I wish I'd gotten a video of Saturday. I sent it to you. Look how bad I did this song. You can just tear me a new ass if you want,
Well, I'm just honored that you're covering my song at all, man. Thanks.
Well, I've done it a few times, and I don't know why. In front of the biggest crowd I played that in front of. I freaking put every other song I did that night. I played great, but I did that. I've looked at it like, what the hell happened? That was supposed to turn out better. We beat ourselves up as musicians sometimes, man. It probably sounded good to other people. To me, it just didn't sound like I did as well as I had other times.
Oh, trust me, I've butchered that song myself many times.
Well, man, I'm running out of time here. Got anything you want to add in before we wrap it up?
Not in particular, but if people wanted to check out the Church of Rock radio show on Sunday nights, it's 6 o'clock Pacific or 8 p.m. Central, or that would be 9 p.m. Eastern time. It's every Sunday night for 2 hours, and we always have a cool guest. Like I said, Jake Hout, new singer of the Dead Boys, is on this weekend, and it's on religiously every Sunday almost without a doubt. I think we take off 3 or 4 times a year, maybe. Usually 2 or 3 maybe. But so that's fun. If people want to connect with me that way, that'd be cool. Or you can find Bloody F Mess on Facebook.
Brandon McLeod of the Muscles, and this is your joke of the week. You know how you can make your water bed a little more bouncy? Put a little spring water in it.